all planets are revolving with respect to the sun in a circular orbit, and as well as if a stone is tied by the string, why a stone is always revolving in the circular path, and if you cut the string, how the stone will be moves away. So these all things whatever you are observing in a daily life, and even observe for banking roads, like if you got a curved road and how did you experience that force, means always the car will move a safe, and as well as the persons will fall on of right side of or left side of the person of the motion. So why it is all happening in this situation? In this case, we already have been experiencing in daily life in a circular motion, two forces are experienced, which is centripetal force and centrifugal force. So in this session, we are going to discuss very deeply about centripetal force and centrifugal force. These forces are what are doing in our physics and in our daily life also. So in the physics we can say centripetal force and centrifugal force. Simply we can say centripetal force is always seeking force acting towards the center. Centrifugal force is acting away from the center, and we need some expression and some examples. So in this session we will explain with every daily life examples how the centripetal force and centrifugal force will be experienced by our human life. So did you know that centrifugal and centripetal force? So in this lecture we are going to deep discussion about centrifugal and centripetal force. All of the students have been confused while studying about circular motion. So while you are studying circular motion, two words or two forces will be involved, which are centrifugal and centripetal forces. So what are major difference between them while where it is experienced? So in our daily life, everywhere you can go, you have been experiencing a centripetal force and a centrifugal force. So before going to explain what centripetal force and centrifugal force, I would like to explain circular motion. So in an entire circular motion, the centripetal and centrifugal force will be involved. But before going to that, you have to know that centrifugal force and centripetal force as well as circular motion. So if you can observe here, the circular motion, if the body is tied by the string and it fixed at one point, the body or object will be revolving like this with the center radius of r. So what do you mean that? So when an object is revolving around the circle, that means if body is revolving around the circle with respect to the constant radius, then this is called circular motion. So while it is revolving like this, in this situation we need two forces required to revolve an object in a circular motion. A major force is centripetal force. So now I am going to discuss centripetal force first, after that centrifugal force. In generally, you know that if you can tie it by a stone by your thread, and if you can rotate like this with a fixed point, the stone will be revolving like this with velocity. Okay. Now, if it is body is revolving with velocity v, which means it is revolving with respect to the center with the radius of r. It is a constant. So while it is revolving with a constant orbit in a circular motion, one force is required towards the center, which is centripetal force. So the centripetal force is nothing but centri is nothing but here it is a center. Centri is nothing but we can call it as a center, the meaning of this one, and as well as petal is nothing but it is a seeking force. A seeking force is always towards the center. This is called centripetal force. So now have to be discussed what are the centripetal force will be experienced in daily life. The best example is when the stone was tied by the string with a fixed point, and if it is rotating like this, one force is acting, that is centripetal force. And when you can observe here in a banking road, if you can observe banking road, if we have a banking road like this, and if you have a car on road, you can clearly observe at this kind of banking road, one force will be acting towards the center, which is safely curve or safely overcurve the curve road. So safe ga manam curve road travel cheyali ante we need one force, that is centripetal force. So which means here the car will always acting towards the center, ante curving road banking roads vachinappudu manaku akkada centripetal force anedi experience chestam. ఓకే, ఇక మనకి ఎలాంటిదైనా సరే మనకి సర్క్యులర్ మోషన్లో రివాల్వ్ అవుతున్నప్పుడు ఎవ్రీథింగ్, అండ్ యు నో దట్ ఇఫ్ ఎ సన్ ఆర్ ద ప్లానెట్స్ ఆర్ రివాల్వింగ్ అరౌండ్ ద సన్, సో వై ఇట్ ఈస్ రివాల్వింగ్ అరౌండ్ ద సన్, వాట్ ఫోర్స్ విల్ బి యాక్టింగ్ బిట్వీన్ దమ్. So these all the things or will be depends only on centripetal force and as well as centrifugal force also. So we need to develop equation for centripetal force, that is if you can one centrifugal force will be acting and one more force as well as also be involved, that is according to Newton's second law we know the formula, that is F is equals to ma. This is the mechanical means if any mass of the body m will be acting like this and the acceleration of the body will be produced, right? And you can write it, this is F is equal to ma. But here it is a straight line or mechanical force and mechanical acceleration untam. Kani మనం ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేసరికి ఆటోమేటిక్గా if the ball is revolving around the circle with respect to the r radius, then one more acceleration is produced, circular acceleration or centripetal acceleration. You can say it centripetal acceleration. So what is centripetal acceleration? The acceleration is required to revolve an object towards the center, that is called centripetal acceleration, which means we can say this is equals to minus v square by r. This is the equation of the centripetal acceleration, AC. So here AC is equals to minus v square by r, but and you get centrifugal force formula in terms of this one. Therefore Fc is equals to m into a, in the place of a I can substitute v square by r and we will get minus v square by r. It becomes Fc is equals to minus mv square by r. Okay, so centripetal force we got some equation. The minus will shows that always the force will be acting towards the center. So any experience and మనం centripetal force గురించి చదువుతున్నాం కదా. And next what about centrifugal force? Where did it experienced? So centrifugal force అంటే if you can observe every daily life washing machine. సో వాషింగ్ మిషన్ లో క్లాత్స్ అనేటివి రివాల్వ్ అవుతున్నాయి అంటే అక్కడ మనకు సెంట్రిఫ్యూగల్ ఫోర్స్ అనేది మనం. అండ్ ద బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎవ్రీ డే మనం ఎవ్రీ టైమ్స్ మనం ఎక్కడైనా పిక్నిక్స్ కానీ ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు మనకు స్వింగ్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ స్వింగ్ మీద కూర్చొని మనం ఇలా రొటేట్ అవుతుంది, జాయింట్ వీల్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా. సో దాని మీద రొటేట్ అవుతున్నప్పుడు మనం ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయ్యే ఆ జాయింట్ వీల్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఏంటి అంటే మన ఫోర్స్, మన పర్సన్ యొక్క ఫోర్స్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్షన్ విల్ అవే ఫ్రమ్ ద సెంటర్. Keep remember one thing, the centripetal force will always acts towards the center but will acts away from the center, away from center. So what I am trying to explain is, if an object is tied by this, if you remove or cut the string, then the particle never be in a circular motion, it will go off, it will flow off. Okay, which means if an object will be cut in the string, this will go like this. Which means if an object is revolving like this and this object have one more force also required, this is centrifugal force and this is centripetal force. This is always acting towards the center and this is always acting away from the center, which is centripetal and centrifugal forces are major difference. So if the formula also remains same, that is why the earth is constantly revolving orbit with net force of the magnitude or both are opposite direction. So the net force of the both forces will become zero. That is why the planets all revolving with respect to the center, that is we are safe now. So ఈ two forces అనేవి చాలా key role play చేస్తున్నాయని మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది. Even you can take any example, even if you take banking roads also, come to the banking roads, while the centripetal force will acting towards the center and one more force also be experienced to away from the center, that is centrifugal force. Did you experience this one? Yes, we can experience while you are traveling in a bus or car, and if it is come a curved road or banking road, immediately our body will fall like the other direction, which means we have been fallen of other direction, because that force is called centrifugal force. Okay, in inertia of direction we have read already, but here also that centrifugal force involves. What is the centrifugal force means? It is always acting away from the center. That is, we can say the total force of the centrifugal force is, we can write is mv square by r, also you can write it. Here it is a plus and that is a become a minus sign, it shows that. So this is about centripetal force and centrifugal force. So hope you guys have understood. Please, if you want to keep updated about this unknown things, keep support me and do subscribe my channel. If you know anything in the session, you can let me in comment section. I will give you reply. Thank you.